It's Talk the Line, Week 17 with Jeff Schwartz, the former NFL lineman, and Jason McIntyre, Fox Sports gambling analyst. Guys, we made it to Week 17. It's hard to believe. We've been betting this whole time. Been through some cold streaks, some heaters. I've definitely sweated some bets out, so I know you guys have as well. This week's a little tricky, a lot to get to, but I'm excited to look at this slate and see what advantage we can take with some of the lines. So let's take a look at the board with all of the current odds, of course, provided by Fox Bet. A lot of double-digit favorites here. 3 on the board that I'm looking at right off the bat. We have Baltimore, Cleveland, and the Colts laying double digits, and 11 home dogs. Bengals, Lions, Giants, Bears, Broncos, the Chiefs, Niners, Panthers, Texans, Eagles. So let's get right into it. We're going to try and make some money and look at these pretty large lines with some dogs. As I mentioned, we have the Steelers and the Browns right off the bat. The line indicates, as we knew before, that Big Ben's not playing. Cleveland is laying 10. They're at home. A low total. It's set at 42. Jeff, I'll start with you here. Is there a side or a total in this game that you like?
Well, we know Pittsburgh's not playing Big Ben, and they're probably not going to play any of the veteran starters they can because, look, they did not have a regular bye this year. They had a bye, but they were practicing the whole week thinking they might play the week after. So they're going to rest everyone they can. But I'll tell you what, this line opened with the Browns favored by 6.5, and that was assuming the Big Ben was not going to play. And now the line jumped 3.5, 4 points since the announcement. I think the value here, if you're betting this game, is on Pittsburgh plus 10.
Yeah, tough to disagree with that, right, Sarah? I mean, the Cleveland Browns have a COVID situation going on. Their facilities closed today, like middle of the week. A couple defensive backs in COVID protocol. This does not look good for Cleveland here. And this big number is only going to get Mike Tomlin to rile up his backups. I know some people are making this out to be a Mason Rudolph revenge game, if that's a thing that exists. Of course, from the Myles Garrett event last year. But if anything right now, I'm with Jeff. I would look at Pittsburgh getting 10, but I think the under is probably the way to go. Again, I got to see what's going on with that Browns offensive line. When they were missing 2 linemen last week, Willis and Teller, they're impactful on that run game. They could not run the football in the Jets. And it's not like the Jets were stacking the box. Jeff, I know you were all over that game. You nailed the Jets. I had liked the Browns. I didn't realize how inept this offense was without those 2 offensive linemen. I think they had 45 yards on 18 carries. That's just unacceptable for one of the best ground games in the league. So I would look at under and the Steelers here.
Yeah, this one's tough. I think you guys said everything perfectly. Originally at 6.5, I would lean Browns. Now at 10, going against Mike Tomlin, I would probably grab the 10 with Pittsburgh. Keep in mind, of course, the Browns can clinch their first playoff berth since 2002 with a win. A lot of motivation on their side. Totals a stay away. Again, this is one of those games that one team's playing for something and the other's resting their starters. But a prop that I do like, courtesy of Fox Bet, of course, in this game is Baker Mayfield. Over or under 229 passing yards. J-Mac, do you like one here?
I'm going to stay away from this one. I need to know what receivers are eligible this week. If it's the motley crew they had last week, I'm definitely staying away. The tight ends had success, but when you're not even looking at your wide receivers, that's not a good thing. And I need to see what's up with the offensive line. And again, Pittsburgh, is Joe Hayden going to play? Minka Fitzpatrick? It's too much uncertainty for me to fire early in the week on a prop here.
You guys know I love taking Baker Mayfield unders. It's made me a lot of money this year, but I think Jason's point is the best one to take here. We don't know who's sitting on Pittsburgh's defense, right? TJ Watt could sit, Cameron Hayward. I would expect both those guys to probably sit as well. Tua might sit. We don't know who's going to sit on that defense. And you mentioned the Browns offensive line. It wasn't just the run blocking last week. Wyatt Teller, the right guard, was out. The backup right guard got beat all day in the pass game. So I think we have to wait till this weekend to see who's playing, who's off the COVID list, who's healthy before making a lot of wagers on this game.
This one's tough. Probably a stay away. I lean over just because they need a win. We know the Steelers are resting a lot of their defense. He threw for 285 against the Jets last week in a loss with his main target, I believe, was Austin Hooper. So I lean over, but probably a stay away. Okay, game 2 that we're going to look at here, you guys, is going to be the Seahawks playing San Francisco. Obviously, the Niners have nothing to play for. Seattle laying 5.5. The total is set at 46. Jeff?
I think the under is definitely in play here. I like the Niners under team total of 18.5. And the Seahawks defense last 5 weeks, allowing 15 points per game, getting 3.5 sacks. They're starting to actually look a lot like the 13 of 14 defense. Both teams obviously made the Super Bowl. That defense is kind of rounding the form right now. Offensively, look, Russell Wilson is pulling back for some reason. He's not throwing the ball deep, even intermediate passes now, going down in numbers. He's playing kind of conservative again. They're running the football a bunch. So I think the under here, Jason, is definitely the play.
Yeah, I just remember the earlier meeting between these two. Nick Mullins came in for Jimmy G, who was injured. And Mullins, I think, had put up 21 points in the second half. Maybe it was a fourth quarter. A lot of garbage time. That's what Nick Mullins does. He comes in garbage time and really cleans up. I don't know if CJ Beathard can get there. Listen, I got burned betting against San Francisco last week. I had Arizona. It did not work out well for me. This is just a tough one. Like, Seattle's playing great, and I want to make a case for them here because I'm trying to work out these playoff calculations. And Sarah, please correct me if I'm wrong here. So if Seattle is able to snag the number 2 seed, there's a chance they would host a second round game, likely against New Orleans. Now, that's assuming the Packers don't blow it and lose to the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
But so much at play. I just have some reluctance to fire this early in the week. And again, does San Francisco, is George Kittle going to play? I looked this up. George Kittle's never had a 100-yard game against Seattle for whatever reason. And Pete Carroll's done well. He's won 5 of 7 against the Niners. We know that NFC West, Jeff and I love to joke, like one team has the other team's number.
Yeah.
We're not going to do Rams. But by the way, McVay totally owns Arizona 7-0. So NFC West is crazy. I haven't had a great handle on it, so I'm going to kind of punt on this one for now.
To your point, it is crazy, the NFC West and the coaching matchups. The Seahawks have won 5 of their last 7 games against the Niners. I think they're playing for something. I'll lay it with Seattle and hope for the best here. That's what my gut tells me, and I think we're going to see a lot of these games this week be a gut play because the numbers are a little bit inflated due to teams playing for playoffs and others not. A prop that we could look at for some plus money in this game on Fox Bet is DK Metcalf to score a touchdown plus 110. Jason.
The only thing I would say is he was so hot earlier this season, had a couple big time games in prime time against the Eagles. And there was another one against Arizona where he had the great chase down, is that we keep seeing props on DK Metcalf, but quietly his numbers are down a bit. If you look at them closely, I don't know is Sherman even playing in this one. I hate to punt on all these props, but I don't feel confident laying any side here.
You're right, exactly right about that. It was about a month ago we joked about him burning Darius Slay. Ever since then, I don't think he's scored a touchdown, right? And in that game too, he fell 1 yard short of scoring a touchdown. So I don't know if he gets it this weekend. Again, for whatever reason, we're seeing the Seattle offense pull back a little bit. They're getting more conservative. Wilson's afraid of making mistakes, which has been a problem. It was a problem for 4 weeks in the middle of the season, but for some reason it kind of stuck with him. One thing to note, DK is 5 yards away from setting Seattle's all-time receiving record for a single season. So they might try to get him in the game to get him a lot of those catches. But I don't feel comfortable with this.
This one's tough. As you guys mentioned, hasn't scored a touchdown his last 2 games, but in his last game against the 49ers, you guys probably remember season high 12 receptions, 2 touchdowns. So I guess I take it, but I'm not crazy at plus 110. Maybe wait and see if it goes up a little. Okay. Next game here on the slate, we have Green Bay playing for the number 1 seed in the NFC and home field advantage, of course, and the bye. Green Bay laying 5 against a team they beat almost every single time. The Chicago Bears, they're on the road. Total pretty high, set at 51.5. J-Mac, I'll go to you first here.
Finally, Sarah, a game I actually like. Not a side, but the total. This was the first bet I made this week. I took the over. This has soared up. I think it opened at 49. Already at 51.5. Mm-hmm. Listen, the Bears, we can mock Trubisky all we want. Jeff and I love to beat up on Maserati Mitch, but he's an over quarterback right now. I know they faced bad defenses the last 4 weeks, but the reality is they've scored over 30 points and the Packers don't have a great defense. I'm just stating the facts here, Green Bay Mafia. Don't come after me. I think this is an over game. I think the Packers get them again. And if you think back to their earlier meeting, Green Bay, again, came out, great script, dominated the game. They led by 1 million. But Trubisky, again, the over quarterback, put up a lot of garbage time stats. I love the over here. This is my most confident pick so that we've seen so far. We have the confidence picks later, obviously. I like the over.
So I lean Green Bay here for a couple reasons. One, Aaron Rodgers does really well in the NFL against a four-man rush. The Bears only blitz, I think, like 26th or 27th blitz rate in the NFL. So not a lot. Aaron Rodgers first in the NFL in passer rating when he faces four or less rushers, which is what the Bears want to do, right? The Packers offensive line is really good at pass protection. We look at Mitch Trubisky. Guys, he's had a good couple of weeks, but if you look at him over the last 3 years, there's a good graph on social media about this. He's not any better or worse than he's been at any point in his career. He's had better games. He's had worse games. He's kind of just doing what he's been doing. But here's the reason why I like the Packers more than anything else. Go back to last year. The Kansas City Chiefs at this time last season were ascending, right? Their defense was never great last year. It was never elite until the last month of the season. They started forcing turnovers, getting stops, forcing punts. Guess what the Packers defense is doing? They're 15th in DVOA. They're right in the middle of the NFL, but they're forcing turnovers. They're forcing punts. They're doing enough. The offense is ascending. I think they're in a great spot right now to keep this momentum going until the postseason. I think the Packers win this game by a touchdown.
100% with you. I think the Packers are going to win this handedly. A lot going on about Mitch Trubisky. I backed him last week. This week, I got to fade him. The Packers own the Bears. They've won 8 out of their last 9 games against Chicago. And if you think that the Packers are going to win, this would go hand in hand. Aaron Rodgers has been out of control, and he's arguably the MVP of the league. Certainly now you could play it at minus 250. After his primetime game against the Titans, this line shifted dramatically. Jeff, I'll go back to you here. Would you lay 250 for Aaron Rodgers to win MVP now?
I know Jason's going to hate this because he hates laying any sort of juice like this. Aaron Rodgers is winning the MVP, folks. So if you want to make money, you do have to risk a lot to win just a little bit. But if there's like a sure bet, I mean, Mahomes not playing this weekend, right? We're going to get to the Bills game next. Josh Allen's probably not going to play very much at all this weekend. Aaron Rodgers has a game to win this weekend to be the 1 seed. He's going to play well. He's going to win the MVP. So if you have the coin to put some down here to get some return back, I would do it.
I don't hate it, Jeff, but you would agree that the value is mostly gone on Rodgers to win the MVP, right? If we had talked about, I think we did talk about this a few weeks back. We were like, hey, it's probably Rodgers or Mahomes. And if you put some money on Rodgers, then, you make a nice profit. I would assume this is a low limit bet here, right? They're not going to let you put down $5,000 on Aaron Rodgers to win the MVP when, as you said, Mahomes is not playing. I don't think Josh Allen's really in the conversation. I would say it's Rodgers or Mahomes. And yeah, this does feel like, to use a phrase that people hate, free money. Like Rodgers has it, what is it? 43 touchdowns, something insane.
Yeah.
You guys are going to laugh. This is free money. It's not a question in my opinion. J-Mac, I'm with you. If you have 250 or 25, 10, whatever you're going to do, lay it. He's winning the MVP. It's another primetime game for him. A game after his prime time to secure a bye. He's been outstanding. Lay the 250 if you have it, of course. Okay, game 4 on this slate. We have the Dolphins in Buffalo. This line's moved a bunch. Right now, we're looking at the Fins favored by half a point. Jeff kind of touched on it strictly because Josh Allen probably will not play. The total is set at 44.5. J-Mac, do you like a side or the total here?
Sarah, I do not. I'm more confident that I will hold my New Year's resolutions for at least a month than I am anything about this game. I mean, who's playing? Jeff said it wisely at the open. Like, we found out Ben's not playing. Okay. We found out Mahomes is not playing. Slowly but surely, coaches are making announcements. I would wait, guys. There's just no reason here on a Wednesday afternoon you have to fire on this game. I would assume that we're going to see a little bit of the Buffalo Bills players, maybe for a quarter or for a half. I didn't mention this in the Pittsburgh game, and I know you guys will remember this game. So week 17, a couple years ago, Tomlin sits his guys. They get to the playoffs. Their opening round game is against Jacksonville. The game was in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh came out, and their guys, having rested in week 17, totally were lost. They just came out sluggish. Jacksonville hit them in the mouth early, won the game 45-42, I believe. There is something to just totally sitting your entire team and then going and playing a game the next week. I get rest for Ben and the quarterbacks. Jeff, you could probably speak to this as a player, but when you get in a rhythm, and the Buffalo Bills are arguably the hottest team in the league right now, you take away that Kyler Murray Hail Mary, who's hotter than Buffalo here down the stretch? I think my guess is McDermott plays his guys for a little bit, a quarter, a half, and maybe this is better to bet after kickoff in game.
I think the value right now is definitely on the Dolphins because I don't think the Bills starters are going to play a lot if they play at all. Remember, this game is not very important for Buffalo unless they care so much who they play as a second seed, right? They have a tiebreaker against Pittsburgh. If you assume the Steelers are going to lose, which you can't assume, I guess, but you can think they're going to lose, they're 10-point underdogs, then Buffalo has the 2 seed. Do they play the Colts or the Browns? Is really what matters in this game. Dolphins wins, they play someone. If Buffalo wins, they play the other team. It's not important enough, in my opinion, to risk guys getting hurt in this game. I think the line is telling you right now, Miami. If everyone was playing this game, Jason, the Bills would be a 5-point favorite, 6-point favorite probably.
I mean,
they're telling you right now they don't expect Allen to play.
This is weird, Jeff, because in the earlier meeting they didn't face Tua. And there is a small chance, I don't have the percentage, but there is a chance these two teams meet again next week. So maybe you're onto something in that, they just say, hey, I don't want you to see a Josh Allen again. Josh Allen already torched him for like 400 yards back in week 2. Although Byron Jones left that game a little early. He's their number 2 cornerback. I don't think they want to put Byron Jones on John Brown. Yeah. And John Brown's active now. And I know he's on the COVID tracing list, so he may not play. Just a lot of uncertainty, Jeff. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, the chance they play again is like some weird thing because if Miami wins this game, they're the 5 seed. If they lose, they're like basically out. I don't know. Like whatever. But I think the line's telling you right now that the Bill stars are not playing. I'd get in Miami now before Sunday, and this line climbs up to where they're favored by 3 or 4.
100% with you here, Jeff. I do think this line is going to head in the direction of the Dolphins. We've already seen it do so. I believe when it opened in the look ahead, it was Fins +2. It's now Fins laying half a point. So I'd probably take the points with the Dolphins, assuming that the Bills will rest their starters. Okay, a prop by Fox Bet. This one I like, you guys. Myles Gaskin coming off of the best game in his professional career. His total for rushing yards is set at 57.5. Jeff, do you like a play on this one?
I think the over is a little bit of lean here. Buffalo's rush defense is not very good. And we know the Dolphins with Tua in the game, they don't really want to throw the ball, so they want to rush the ball a lot. There should be a prop, by the way, of at what time in this game does Ryan Fitzpatrick enter? Like that a prop, that Fox Bet. Can we create a prop that says, when does Ryan Fitzpatrick come to
I'll be the book. I'll text you, Jeff.
They're too afraid to start him for an entire game.
I guess I would lean to Gaskin over. I just have to say, we know what they're going to do to Tua. Hey, man, we're going to put man coverage on the outside Tua and stack the box. Can you beat us? And like when teams dare him to beat them, has he done that? Has he proven he can beat anybody? And guys, one other note, I just totally forgot. This game is on the road in Buffalo. Tua on the road in what were we looking at? 15-degree temperatures, 20.
I think it's around 30 degrees.
30 to maybe that's not terrible, but I'm out on Tua right now, guys. I mean, we saw him against like the Raiders and a slew of backups on defense last week. I mean, the Raiders defense is atrocious. He couldn't do anything. Like on the road, just could do nothing. Just be leery backing Tua in any way, shape, or form.
I lean to back Gaskin here, strictly all the reasons J-Mac just said. If Tua's going to run the ball or short passes, Gaskin's your guy. So I'll lean over 57.5 here, especially because I like the Dolphins to win this game. Okay, moving along, we have the Dallas Cowboys still fighting to win the NFC East along with the New York Giants. Of course, the Washington football team loses. Dallas laying 3. The total is set at 44.5. J-Mac, do you like a side or the over or under here?
All right. People tend to like the joke. So I know the Mara family owns the Giants, but that's not true, Sarah. The Dallas Cowboys own the Giants. They won 7 straight against them. But in all reality, I did bet the Cowboys, but folks, I bet them at 2.5 earlier this week. And at 3, I have a hard time making the case for Andy Dalton on the road laying 3. There's probably, you talk to the numbers guys who bet numbers, not teams or players. They'll say, I got to take the Giants getting 3. But you look every aspect about Danny Dimes, Danny Loose Change, whatever we want to call him. If his hamstring's not right and his ankle's not right, you trusting Daniel Jones to beat anybody from the pocket? Because just a news flash, like Jalen Hurts looked good in the first quarter. They led 14-3. They had 11 drives last week against this Cowboys defense. The Eagles had 3 points. Okay. So I don't know about Danny Dimes winning from the pocket. We know this Giants offense is a train wreck. Team total under 17. Cha-ching, that hit last week. I would look at that again, given this low total. I love the Cowboys at 2.5. I like them at 3, but just be careful laying 3 with Dalton.
I'll give you some reasons to back Dallas here. First of all, the last 3 weeks, Dallas's point differential is plus 51. The Giants is negative 47. So two teams going in opposite directions. Cowboys plus 9 in turnovers. Giants are minus 2. Look, minus 2 is not bad. They're not even winning games without turning the ball over. Imagine if they turn the ball over 2 or 3 times a game. They would lose this game by 3 touchdowns. Also, look, since Andy Dalton's been back, last 3 games, he's 5th in passer rating, 3rd in yards per attempt. He's getting more comfortable in this offense. He's finding his wide receivers. They had big play wide receivers. Offensive line's playing a little bit better. We know Giants don't rush the passer terribly well, but really on the flip side, the Cowboys defense, guys, will not be confused with an average defense. They're not, but they're getting a little bit better. Last couple of weeks, their pressure rate's gone up. Daniel Jones pressured the most in the NFL. I think the Cowboys go into MetLife, win this game by a touchdown. And lastly, Andy Dalton has played in pressure games before. He's played on the road having to win a big game. Daniel Jones has never been in this spot before. At home, we know the Giants don't cover at home. They're under 40% at home covering in the life of MetLife Stadium. I think the Cowboys roll in Dallas, just like Jason said, win this game. I'll eat the 3 points.
You guys heard me last week, 13-1. I liked the Dallas Cowboys to win the division. I like them here. Lay in the 3. Okay, Michael Gallup, will he score a touchdown? Plus 175 right now on Fox Bet. J-Mac, will he score a touchdown?
Is he going to be going against that joker that the Eagles put out in the secondary? I mean, that guy had the 2nd worst day of any quarterback in the league this year. However, I want to see what the Giants do with Bradbury. Do they have him on one side of the field? Because we know when he was healthy pre-COVID, he was one of the best cornerbacks in the league. He had some very impressive shutdown performances. I just don't know. There's so many weapons on this Cowboys offense. I mean, Gallup had a monster day last week. Mm-hmm. It could be Amari Cooper tomorrow. It could be the rookie, CeeDee Lamb. It could be Cedric Wilson. In a low-scoring game, I would actually lean toward no touchdown for Gallup. Just think about this, guys, from the sports books perspective. Fox Bet is saying, oh, everybody saw Michael Gallup have a monster game. Is he going to score a touchdown? Sure he is. Plus 175. You get great juice on that. However, look at the total, 44 points. So, they're calling this like a 24-20 type game. That's like 4 touchdowns in the game. Maybe less given the inability of Danny Dimes. I would lean no on Gallup. Sorry.
Jeff?
Yeah, I think that Jason made the point here is that he had a hot week last week. Everyone's going to back him this week, but the Cowboys have a lot of scoring options, right? That's why you have Amari Cooper, obviously. You have the 2 running backs. Like, I think to me, there's not a lot of value in taking this after a big weekend. If this was before last weekend, I think it was plus 400 to score a touchdown. Mm-hmm. That feels like better value than right now.
Exactly. 2 touchdowns last week have obviously impacted this week's line. So stay away from me, but I do like them to win and win big. So there's a chance. So plus 175, too short. Okay. Game 6, we're going to look at for Sunday. Tennessee, of course, playing to win the AFC South in Houston. They're laying 7.5. Obviously a high total with the Tennessee Titans because the overs have been hitting left and right for them, 55.5. Jeff, do you like the Titans, Texans, or the total here?
Oh man. So if you look at the big favorites this weekend that need to win to make the playoffs, this is the one game where I look at it and say, hey, a favorite can lose, right? But the Texans have really given up. Like JJ Watt's called them out 2 weeks in a row now. They have not responded. Their left tackle might be out. Deshaun Watson's elbow, he's going to play, but a little questionable with an elbow. So I really do lean Texans plus 7.5 here, like in a big way. Watson, it's since week 6, first in the NFL in completion percentage, first in yards per attempt, first in touchdown to interception ratio. He's fantastic, guys. Titans defense last in third down, last in pressure rate. We know all that. So if he's healthy, they will score points, but I kind of feel like they've given up and Watt keeps calling them out and they don't respond. They lost to the Bengals last weekend at home. So I lean here, Jason, but I don't feel great with it.
Yeah. Jeff made a great point. Listen, Deshaun Watson's not getting respect around the league. I hosted the Dan Patrick show yesterday and the co-host of mine was beating up on Deshaun Watson like he's not a good quarterback. He's not the reason this team stinks. Watson is graded out as one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the league this year. But Jeff mentioned he may play. Like I would, Jeff, are you really risking Deshaun Watson? That elbow injury looked kind of grotesque on the final play.
Yeah.
If he gets hurt in week 17, okay, and he needs surgery, I don't know that he opens next season. playing week 1. So my guess would be I would not be shocked if they sat him and AJ McCarron got the start. At that point, this line goes from 7.5 to 10.5, probably maybe more. If you're feeling frisky and you've got some extra shekels you pulled out of the Christmas stocking last week, I would toss it on Tennessee on the chance that Watson does not play. One quick note, okay? Derrick Henry has a shot at 2,000 yards. He needs 223 yards. And before you say, Jason, that's crazy, 223 yards, no shot. His last 2 games against Houston, which, they have no defense whatsoever. Yeah. Derrick Henry, I got this written down, 54 carries, 423 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's averaging against Houston the last 2 games, 7.8 yards per carry. Derrick Henry may just go for 2,000. Now, personally, I wouldn't do that with a playoff game looming, but it wouldn't be out of the realm if Tennessee did. That's my analysis.
If you watch the show on a weekly basis, I ride the Tennessee totals and the over. If I played it every week for 16 weeks or whatever, I'd be really rich. So I'm going to keep doing that. 55.5. I'll take the over. Titans win. I think they win big. Texans defense, they stink right now. They give up 37 points to the Bengals. Take the Titans or leave it alone. That's my opinion. Next game here, we have the Washington football team. Can they win the NFC East? Is Alex Smith playing? A lot of questions here. They're laying 2 in Philadelphia, a lot on the line, a low total, 43.5. Jeff, side or total? You like either?
This game is very simple for me. If Alex Smith plays, you bet Washington on the money line. If he doesn't play, you just don't bet the game. It's that simple, right? Now, Washington still win with Helinski, but you're not going to put your money on that. The Eagles right now, they're out of the playoffs. Jalen Hurts has been good, but he's not been great. And he kind of regressed, like Jason mentioned earlier in the show, the back half of the game against the Cowboys. So I would stay away from the Eagles here. But I think if Alex Smith plays, just go money line, straight money line play. Washington wins this game. Great story for Alex Smith. Great story for Ron Rivera. But if he doesn't play, stay the heck away.
Yeah, I think the market is telling us that Alex Smith is probably going to play, right? Because
yes.
Sarah, correct me if I'm wrong. Eagles opened as a small favorite, and now Washington's favored. So somebody in the market has to know something. But I'm with Jeff. If Alex Smith plays, Washington wins. They are 10-5 with him as quarterback. When he doesn't play, anybody else's quarterback, 6-26. I'm not saying Alex Smith is great by any stretch. He's, check down Charlie at this stage in his career. I probably would lean towards staying away. And if you ask me, Jason, you have to make a bet here, I would look at the under, because Taylor Heineke versus a rookie quarterback who looked like a rookie in the second half last week just screams under to me.
Yeah, this all has to do with Alex Smith versus Taylor Heineke. So keep an eye on that. If Alex Smith is playing, take Washington on the money line, the fair consensus here. On the other side of the ball, Jalen Hurts, of course, getting the start. The prop here is going to be for his completions. It's set at 18.5 with Fox Bet. Do either of you guys have a feel? Jeff, I'll start with you with Jalen Hurts completions against this very good Washington defense.
Washington is allowing 21 completions a game, good for like 6th best in the NFL. I would just stay away from this. This could be if they get behind early, could be a throwing game. It's tough with some of these because of the RPOs, right? The run pass option. So, you might call 10 of those. He might hand off 7. 1 week he hands off 3 and it's 7 more completions. Like, it's really hard with some of these creative offenses to take some of these props. I just stay away, Jason.
Yeah, I'm with you. No play here for me. Washington is a snail offensively. They want to muck the game up, run the football, chew clock, and let their defense win it, because we don't know if their quarterback can. So I don't know if Hurts is even going to attempt that many passes. I would punt.
Stay away for all of us. Okay, the time of the show everyone has been waiting for. Let's try and make the fans some money ourselves as well. Jeff, I'm starting with you. I need this pizza money bet. Hit me.
So I'm hoping that Deshaun Watson's going to be healthy, because I have him over 200 and I think it's 84.5 passing yards. He will rip through this Titans defense. I talked about earlier how good he's playing right now. He had 335 yards in their first matchup. He's the only way they can win this game. I got a teaser here: Green Bay, New Orleans, basically just money line picks, right? They both have to win, right? They want to be at home for at least most part of their games. New Orleans at Carolina. We haven't talked much about that game. And then let's go straight parlay here. Look, the Chargers, they're going to Kansas City. They've won 3 or 4 in a row. The Chiefs are resting everybody, which obviously the line implied that already before they announced Mahomes out. And I think, look, Miami has to win too. And I'm telling you guys, I think the Bills aren't going to play their starters. I'm kind of taking a flyer here. It's a parlay. It's a lot of money here. I hope we can win.
Love it.
All right. I don't know if we're going to show records for the season, but I'm sure mine is better than what I did last week. Oh my gosh. Rough week in the confidence meter for your boy. You know, can we see the pizza money bet? I mean, come on, let's see it. Listen, again, week 17, I preached some patience. Wait a minute. I went 3-0 last week. I didn't even realize that.
Again?
Holy cow. Maybe I'm better. Maybe that's a mistake. And those are Sarah's bets, but, I didn't think I did that well last week. Over, as I said, for Green Bay, Chicago, Dallas, 2.5, not 3. And the under in Washington, Philadelphia, just because, you know, if it's Taylor Heineke and Jalen Hurts, I'm going to be drinking a lot of Heinekens, having to watch those offenses. Goodness gracious.
Jason, you know, you're so good and on a heater when you forget that you went 3-0, like, oh, no big deal. I go 3-0, I'm shopping for 4 days straight, but it's no big deal. All right, let's see my picks here. The pizza, fire and luck. I'm taking Minnesota -6.5. I saw the terrible news and we're really sorry about Dalvin Cook. He will not be playing in this game, but that being said, I still like it at 6.5. I think it'll come down. I'm sure he's worth a point or 1.5 on this spread. Vikings are 6-0, both straight up in ATS against Detroit in their last 6. I'm not really sure who's going to play quarterback for the Detroit Lions. Look out for Justin Jefferson. I think he's going to try and take this NFL record for most receiving yards, I'll lay it with Minnesota. Green Bay -5. You guys, Green Bay is going to pick apart this Bears team. I know I backed the Bears last week. The Packers own the Bears. You look at what they've done in their last 20 meetings. Packers have gone 17-3 straight up, 14-6 ATS. I follow the trend. I'm going with the NFL MVP, Aaron Rodgers here. And the one I love the most is a 2-team teaser. Get these teams to win. Seattle, they're still playing for something. They have the Niners number here. I just want them to win the game. Another part of the 6-point teaser. Tennessee -1.5. I think they're going to crush this Texans team, but here's a little bit of cushion, so I'm not sweating towards the end of the game like we were last week in the Ravens game.
That's probably the best bet right there of any of ours. I don't know how I missed that.
Wow, let's just end the show there, you guys. I got a really good compliment, so I got to get out quick before it turns. You guys, thank you so much. We will be back here on Sunday, 12 Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, leading up to kickoff, hopefully getting you ready for all of the bets. For Jeff Schwartz and Jason McIntyre and all of us with Fox Bet. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you Sunday.